Hello and welcome to YNWA Transfer News, your ultimate source for all Liverpool FC transfer news. Our first news is this.
Liverpool sent clear Florian Wirtz message as insane. Mohamed Salah change can still reverse. Former Liverpool winger Jermaine Pennant has rubbished suggestions that his old side got things wrong in the summer transfer market, insisting that Arne Slot's team will soon come good. The Reds spent big money on the likes of Alexander Isak and Florian Wirtz, with neither having shown their full potential yet. The latter is now set for a spell on the sidelines with a muscle injury, but Pennant says when they are both fully fit and firing, there is no reason for Liverpool to be concerned. In both cases, the individuals are simply too talented not to work out at Anfield. There is more to come from Wirtz, but there has also been a lot so far. Pennant told YNWA, "I think people are missing little things. If Mohamed Salah had squared the ball to him 4 times, he would have had 4 goals to his name. If the boys he set up had put the ball into the back of the net, he would have had about 6 assists. The team is just in a transition period, where it is gelling. He has struggled alongside the rest of the team, but apart from that, he has showed some great touches when he is on the ball. His IQ is off the charts. You know there is a great player there and you can see that for Germany. When Liverpool are playing well and he is there is a star there. I am not worried. He is still only 22 and when Liverpool start coming good, he is going to be at the front of that. For sure, while Liverpool needs to ensure that it gets back into the Champions League places as a bare minimum this season, it was always going to take time for things to click. The only worrying that Pennant has is Salah, who has struggled for form in the early part of the new campaign. The drop-off with Salah is a bit insane, he said. We're not used to seeing Salah's numbers like this and the way that he is so ineffective in games. Again, he is still trying to build that relationship with Conor Bradley. Is he missing Trent Alexander-Arnold more than we would think? But I think he is just getting used to new teammates. It's a long season. We're only 11 games in and there are still 27 games to go. There is time for him to turn it around, but I'm hoping the whole team can click into gear and we see the stars start playing to their potential, even for Salah. There is a new team around him to get used to. Even if he has been at Liverpool for a long time, it's about finding relationships. Pennant, speaking on behalf of new betting sites, said, "When you meet a new friend, you build that relationship and then you become tight. It's the same at a football club. You get close to certain players, and the team bonds. All of a sudden, you're going out there as a family. It's just about the new signings getting used to the new surroundings and the club, and the history, and everything that comes with it. Once they feel at peace and at home, we will see the team come good. They're integrating a lot of new players into a new system and it does take time. What we're seeing now, I expected to see when Arne Slot first came in. To win the league was a shock and a bonus for everyone. Now with the new players, it will take a bit of time. They will come good because they are great players. We've seen that with their national teams, how good they can be. It is just a matter of being patient. If you have good players, that is only a good thing. We talk about PSG having that famous Neymar Messi Mbappé front 3, but they didn't work for the team. It was them 3, and everyone else working around them. That's not the case for Liverpool. So having great players will only benefit the team once they gel and they come together. And we see that master plan get into gear. Liverpool news. Fan favorite branded problem as Jurgen Klopp issues big apology. Liverpool are back in action on Saturday as the defending Premier League champions take on Nottingham Forest at Anfield. The Reds were sent packing into the 2-week international with their tails tucked between their legs after being thrashed 3-0 by Manchester City. Before that game, Liverpool had won back-to-back fixtures against Aston Villa and Real Madrid. They kept clean sheets in both as Slot's team looked back to their formidable best. The double boost had given fans hope that the Reds had overcome a poor run of form that saw their Premier League title defense all but fall apart after they lost 4 Premier League games on the spin. Yet Arne Slot's side now find themselves 8th in the table after the City setback and in dire need of points, with a former Liverpool star opening up on his relationship with ex-boss Jurgen Klopp and a current Liverpool favourite butting heads with his national team coach. Mirror Football takes a look at the latest news from Anfield. Jurgen Klopp's apology. Ex-Liverpool star Sadio Mane has revealed that Jurgen Klopp apologized to him after he failed to sign him for Borussia Dortmund. Mane moved from Southampton to Liverpool in 2016 and enjoyed an illustrious 8-year stint at Anfield. Klopp was at the reins of Dortmund in 2014 when he spotted Maine, who was thriving with Red Bull Salzburg at the time. Speaking on the Rio Ferdinand Presents podcast, Maine said, "I met Klopp. He wanted to bring me to Dortmund, but it didn't work out. After Klopp joined Liverpool, he contacted Maine over a move to the Reds." The Senegalese icon added, "Klopp called me. First of all, I say, coach ... single quotes, he said, 'How are you? It was my fault. You didn't come to Dortmund. Because, you know, I wanted to come there. I met him first. I was not happy, and he apologized for this. And he said, we will build the team no one wants to play against. And then, if we grow up together, you will play every game.' So when he was in Liverpool, and I was also making my way, I go to Southampton. And that was, okay, we meet again. On Klopp's charm offensive that brought him to Anfield," he said. Klopp called me. He said, 'Listen, it didn't work out. It was my fault. So what do you think? We work again or?' And then I go to meet Mauricio Pochettino at Tottenham. I say, okay, so make sure you agree with my agent, everything. I will come to Tottenham. And I come back home. 3 days after, Klopp called me. I say, this is my Klopp. This is the right ... This is what I want. Maine scored 120 goals and 46 assists for the Reds from 269 appearances across all competitions, clinching a Premier League title, an FA Cup, a League Cup and the Champions League at Anfield. He is a problem. Emerges. Italy boss Gennaro Gattuso has claimed Federico Chiesa has a problem after blaming the Liverpool forward for his ongoing absence from the Italy squad. The 28-year-old has not represented his country since their European Championships round of 16 exit against Switzerland back in June 2024, while Chiesa struggled for game time at the Reds in his debut season last year. He is featured regularly in the current campaign, returning 2 goals and 3 assists. Gattuso has wanted to recall Chiesa to the Italy squad following his appointment as national manager back in June. However, the Red Star resisted call-ups ahead of the September, October and November international breaks. You know it well. You know Chiesa's problem, Gattuso told Sky Sports Italia. You always ask me the same thing. I call Chiesa in every call-up. I always talk to him. The problem is not Gattuso or his staff. He has a problem, not us. You know it well. You always ask the same thing, and I always answer the same. Calls for Chiesa to return to the fold are growing. Italian World Cup winner Francesco Graziani insisted that the Azzurri need Chiesa back in order to give them the best chance of qualifying for next summer's World Cup. We will qualify for the World Cup, but in this team, there are no champions, the 1982 World Cup told Tuttosport, even though it's made of excellent players. We are missing world-class talents such as Alessandro Del Piero or Francesco Totti. Chiesa absolutely needs to be recovered. Why Liverpool have struggled to gel after £446 million transfer spree. When Liverpool beat Chelsea in the 2024 Carabao Cup final, manager Jurgen Klopp branded the victory the most special of his storied career. He did so not because of the stature of the competition, nor because of the prize money on offer, but because of the nature of his team's triumph. With Liverpool's squad decimated by injury, Klopp was forced to field several academy players at Wembley, and his team defied expectations to win 1-0 thanks to an extra-time header from captain Virgil van Dijk, while Klopp and his squad were lavished with praise. Mauricio Pochettino's expensively assembled Chelsea side were ridiculed, with Sky Sports pundit Gary Neville infamously dubbing the Blues billion-pound bottle jobs on account of their heavy transfer spending over recent years, less than 2 years on, however. And it is Arne Slot's Liverpool who are now the subject of intense scrutiny following an unprecedented summer in which they spent £446 million to sign 7 new players, the highest outlay by a Premier League club in a single window. Having romped to the title last season, it seemed like the Reds' stunning summer was destined to take Slot's squad to the next level. But 11 games into the new campaign, Liverpool's title defense lies in tatters, with a disappointing run of 5 defeats in 6 league games leaving them in 8th place. 8 points adrift of leaders Arsenal, having been the masters of consistency last season. The champions now look like a team in transition and are quickly learning that winning the transfer window does not always equate to instant success on the pitch. But how difficult is it for elite teams to integrate new players? And is it only a matter of time before Liverpool's massive summer rebuild starts to yield winning results? We delve deeper. with the help of former chief executive and sporting director at AS Monaco, Tor Christian Carlson. New arrivals impact a team's intensity. Despite last season's title success, it was always likely to be a transformative summer for Liverpool. Having signed only winger Federico Chiesa ahead of the 2024-25 campaign, the Reds needed a revamp, particularly in attack. Sources have told ESPN that forwards Luis Diaz and Darwin Núñez had both expressed a desire to leave the club, while the tragic death of striker Diogo Jota further impacted the Reds' transfer strategy. With a number of first-team departures to offset, Liverpool brought in 7 new signings, including £69 million for Eintracht Frankfurt forward Hugo Ekitike, £100 million to land Bayer Leverkusen midfielder Florian Wirtz, and £125 million to sign Newcastle United striker Alexander Isak. Despite a strong start to the campaign, Liverpool followed up their run of 7 successive wins in all competitions with a dismal sequence of 7 defeats in 10, with both Wirtz and Isak failing to hit the ground running at Anfield. When people come in for huge money and there's lots of expectation, it's easy to be disappointed. Former Liverpool midfielder David Thompson told ESPN, "It's about managing expectations. But what I expect is even if things aren't going well, when you're playing for Liverpool, you've still got to roll your sleeves up and do something for the team. That might look like working hard, closing down from the front, sprinting, just basically working super hard. There is work rate there from the lads that have come in, but it's not the same as what Liverpool had with Diaz or Núñez or Jota, particularly out of possession. So even if you can't bring your game in possession as a new player, you need to be able to bring a bit of tempo and energy off the ball." Thompson was a product of Liverpool's academy, making his first team debut in 1996, and he credits the senior members of the squad with helping to set the standards for incoming players during his time at the club. "The big example I think of when I was coming through is Ian Rush," he said. "I was shocked at the level of defensive work that he did, even in the practice games. It had always been highlighted through the youth teams, but actually when we got to Melwood and started training with the first team, the amount of intense traps that Rush would set was insane. It was probably abnormal how he could go from being so still, just looking uninterested, to then just going boom, and he'd be straight on you and taking the ball off you. That's what I always expect from Liverpool, that tempo and intensity. That lack of intensity is evidenced by Liverpool's pressing stats this season. In terms of high turnovers, the amount of times a team turns over possession high up the pitch, Liverpool are averaging just 6.9 per game. According to Opta, this is down from 8.1 high turnovers per game last season, and 10.3 in Klopp's final season in 2023-24. Liverpool are also posting less favorable numbers in terms of PPDA, opposition passes allowed per defensive action, which assesses how many opposition passes a team permits before making an interception. In this metric, the lower the PPDA the better, but this season Liverpool's PPDA stands at an average of 11.0, up from 10.3 last term and 8.9 in 2023-24. While Liverpool's ambition to upgrade from a position of strength does make sense on many levels, such a strategy does carry some inevitable risks. Predicting the impact of one new arrival in a settled team is one thing, whereas predicting the combined effect against the backdrop of an uprooted structure and culture is quite another. Liverpool's trademark strategy under Arne Slot, intense pressing, quick regains and split-second transitions, has arguably also been weakened by the departures of lesser-known heroes like Diaz and Núñez. Though the current squad has seen a significant increase in mere talent and quality, the movements, the timing and collective instincts are unsurprisingly still to be properly embedded. Carlson, wholesale changes can create problems. Liverpool are not the only Premier League side to have encountered teething problems after a significant rebuild. Since Todd Boehly and Clearlake Capital took over at Chelsea in 2022, the London club have regularly been held up as a cautionary tale with regards to reckless spending in the transfer market, including loans. Chelsea have made 53 signings under Boehly at a cost of over £1.5 billion, having signed fewer than 30 players in the period between their 2016-17 title win and 2022, while things at the club have been less chaotic under current head coach Enzo Maresca. Chelsea's scattergun approach to transfers proved problematic for some of the Italians' predecessors, including Graham Potter, who was tasked with managing a massively bloated squad during his 7 months in charge during the 2022-23 season. We tried to support the club's transfer strategy as best we could, but it left us with the challenge of a lot of players after January. And then they can't go anywhere, Potter told The Telegraph last year. A few of them just had to sit on the floor. It's not ideal, of course. Everybody recognized it was a really difficult situation because you can only pick 11 players, and if you've got 20 players not playing, it doesn't matter where you are. If you can find a coach out there who says, "Yeah, that's the best condition for me," I'd be very surprised. Indeed, making significant alterations to any team is rarely conducive to instant success, something Nottingham Forest learned the hard way after winning promotion from the Championship ahead of the 2022-23 season. Having triumphed in the playoffs, Forest desperately needed to bolster their threadbare squad with Premier League quality and famously made 21 first-team signings in the summer of 2022. Steve Cooper's side smashed the British record for signings made by one club during a single window, spending more than the likes of Barcelona, Real Madrid and Paris Saint-Germain. And their £163.4 million outlay represented a record for newly promoted side in the Premier League and was more than the combined spend of every club in Dutch Eredivisie. Still, Forest struggled in the top flight, winning just one of their first 11 games and finishing the season in 16th place, just 4 points above the relegation zone. Fast forward to last season, and Forest enjoyed a stunning campaign in which they secured European qualification for the first time in 30 years under Nuno Espirito Santo. But achieving such a feat required patience and continuity, with players needing time to forge relationships on and off the pitch. With that in mind, it is perhaps not a coincidence that Liverpool's two most recent title wins followed transfer windows in which their activity was limited. After winning the UEFA Champions League in 2019, the Reds' most expensive acquisition was Fulham's Harvey Elliott, who commanded an initial compensation fee of £1.5 million. The next season, Liverpool went on to win the Premier League title by an 18-point margin. While the club have never been afraid to spend big to sign players they feel can transform the squad, such as Van Dijk £75 million and goalkeeper Alisson Becker £66.8 million. Their £446 million summer spending spree was out of the ordinary, and that has presented Slot with a host of unique challenges to try and navigate. Every Liverpool supporter has been having sleepless nights trying to work out what system they should play and players they should use. Former Liverpool defender Jamie Carragher told Sky Sports last month following the Reds' 2-1 defeat to Manchester United. Liverpool's business didn't feel Liverpool-like. It felt Real Madrid-like in terms of signing the most expensive players. When you have spent big money, you have to find a way of getting these players on the pitch. Carlo Ancelotti was the master of that. Liverpool's summer has always been about planning. When you look on paper at the end of the Manchester United game, it was a mess. Wholesale changes, which involve high-profile £100 million signings that you want on the pitch and can't really drop, don't just make for a very complex puzzle, but they come with short-term implications that are harder to work out than in the case of 2 or 3 more routine acquisitions. As much as tactics and performance data are key, the human element is an equally important part of a squad overhaul. These days, a player whose contract is about to run down may be allowed to leave regardless of impact on dressing room chemistry, with data and algorithms driving the decisions. Old-school factors such as social glue, team spirit and continuity are hard to quantify yet profoundly influential. Carlson.
Thank you for watching. Like and comment, subscribe.